This video serves as an introduction to preoccupied attachment style. We'll discuss the symptoms, the struggles, and behavioral manifestations of someone with a preoccupied attachment style. In future videos, I'll share practical tips on how to cope with it, how to fix it. First, we have to understand it deeply on a theoretical level because understanding in and of itself can bring about change. I made an introduction about attachment styles and what they are, what the concept is. If you don't know what attachment styles are, it's very important that you know about this. So go back on the channel, check my introduction to attachment styles. Now, let's begin. Preoccupied attachment can be summed up in two words: neediness and fear of abandonment. Not just a preoccupied person can exhibit neediness. We can all feel needy at times for whatever reason. It's just that in relationships, preoccupied people, anxious preoccupied people, are the ones most prone to find themselves begging and pleading. It's often an unconscious behavior, and they're not aware of it. They just can't help it. They can't stop it. Again, we're not demonizing anybody here. We're just analyzing this attachment pattern psychologically, okay? Just remember that. When it comes to neediness and any of the characteristics I'll be describing, just remember that there are degrees to it. Some people with this attachment style you will meet and they won't be extremely needy. In fact, they'll come across as very confident and self-sufficient at times. This is because some of these people most likely have done a fair level of self-development throughout the years and they're aware of the patterns. Yes, it's very much possible to study your patterns and rewire your brain to act like a securely attached person. It's totally fixable. Keep that in mind. Attachment styles are not like personality disorders. Of course, they are not easy to fix, but you can improve on them more easily than, say, for example, a personality disorder. They remain in the category of quote-unquote past trauma and post-traumatic stress. The second main characteristic is fear of abandonment. Depending on the severity of attachment disturbance, you will show this fear in the courting phase, way before you enter a relationship. In general, in the dating world, this is referred to as quote-unquote approach anxiety for men or reception anxiety for women. Either you're terrified to talk to a girl, and if you're a woman, you find yourself very anxious to receive a man's approach or attention. The first few seconds of a date is always some kind of a panic attack, big or small depending on the level of your attachment disturbance. This is fear of abandonment, expressing itself in various ways. From the perspective of attachment psychology, you're not scared of the opposite sex. This fear goes way deeper. It's the fear of your mom leaving the room as a baby who got conditioned with an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. In turn, when your mom is back, you may experience fear also because you know her presence is gonna make you feel good, but you never know when she'll leave again. It's a constant anxiety about maintaining and losing positive emotions, so you grow up like that. Your ego structure is incomplete. You may feel enough at times, but in reality, never truly enough, even in relationships. But by enough, I mean positive emotions about the self, a positive self-image, a strong and powerful sense of self. The self is weak in preoccupied attachment style people. Therefore, just like the relationship you had with your mom, the fear of approaching a woman is the fear of losing love if things go right. The fear of receiving a man's approach as a woman is unconsciously fear of receiving love but losing it at some point. Receiving approval, feeling good, then the person leaves. Same goes for the fear you experience before the first date. You may want to rewind the video and listen to this again a couple times. Deep. You may also find yourself overthinking all kinds of worst case scenarios about why your date won't like you or find value in you as a person. This makes it clear to us that as a preoccupied, you don't feel fundamentally self-approved of, self-accepted, self-valued. You feel fundamentally not good enough. If your partner leaves, you're screwed. You go through a very long mourning and breakup process and may keep holding on to a past relationship for years in your mind, even if the partner was extremely abusive. You draw your sense of self and positive emotions, happiness, your ability to feel good about yourself from the outside in, from other people's approval, from outside of your body, outside yourself, from sex, from love, from falling in love. For some preoccupied people, if they're not having sex regularly, for example, or if they don't have a relationship, a partner, and if they don't have partners, they feel quite depressed, actually. At times, they can't even function at their best in other areas without a partner in their life. They can be very, they are serial monogamous. In the psychological world, the preoccupied is called a quote-unquote love addict, as in addicted to love. The preoccupied unconsciously projects positive emotions onto a potential mate. It's as if they feel like garbage most of the time, unconsciously and consciously too, and that their potential date is their savior. There's this unconscious tendency to think that others have value, love, positive emotions, beauty, and they don't. This is because the preoccupied infant did not receive consistent love and attention to be able to embody and absorb how it feels like to be soothed and loved in just the right way at all times and get everything you need at all times, especially attention. In most cases, it's because the mother had to go to work and would leave the infant to a babysitter. The infant favors the mother's presence, and any prolonged absence will cause him or her to feel prolonged negative emotions and fear of abandonment. In the contrary, secure infant had consistent maternal care. They were given love in just all the right ways. The mother was around almost all the time. This helps the infant to learn how to self-soothe, to see value in themselves, and to develop self-acceptance. Consistent love and care allows for the development of secure attachment. You literally feel that others have value, but you as well. You go on a date thinking to yourself that you are valuable and you're there to share your presence, your valuable presence, not to take from those who have love, but to give love also. You see yourself as love and go on dates to give love as your own presence. Preoccupied people don't see much value in themselves, but they do project a lot of value onto others, as I said. All of this is an unconscious thought process, of course. They don't know that their minds work like this. Everything seems normal on the surface to others and to themselves. They can come across as talkative, witty, fun to be around, and even very confident at times, and can be the center of attention at a party. Generally speaking, you'll notice their dysfunctional attachment patterns only when you start getting closer to the person, especially after sexual contact. It can get to the point of stalking, texting every single day, every single second, every single minute, feeling angry if you don't text back or if you don't want to move into a long-term relationship as fast as they want. Usually they want to go super fast into it. Again, remember, not all preoccupied people are stalkers or extreme in behavior, okay? In fact, most of them can control their behavior to some extent, especially if they've done some kind of self-development work or some kind of therapy in the past. I have found it to be true, especially for people over the age of 25 who've gone through a fair number of breakups, perhaps, rejection concerning their behavior, and they were forced to reflect on it and improve it. The fear of abandonment can also come up in a form of preoccupation about a girl texting you back or not, when you will ever meet again, what will happen to the relationship in the future, and if there's anything wrong between the two of you. Your mind seems to have lots of thoughts around romantic preoccupation in general. Because when your mom was not around, that's what you had thoughts and feelings about in the first 2 years of your life. When will I feel those positive emotions? My mother's presence, When will I be held, hugged, and loved? When will I ever see her again? Will I ever see her again? To note, attachment disturbances are found equally in men as in women, usually the same patterns, yes? A woman with preoccupied attachment style will exhibit the same behaviors in relationships as in a man who has preoccupied attachment style. Another thing to note is that attachment styles will mostly affect your romantic relationships, not as much your job or success in other areas. You can exhibit that in friendships, but mostly it's gonna be romantic stuff, so just to remember. They can, if the disturbance is strong, exhibit those behaviors with job, business opportunities, and relationships and friendships as well, if the attachment disturbance is extreme. But in general, it'll be fine. You can find millionaires and very successful people in all areas who have preoccupied attachment style. The biggest impact is, as I said, relationships, romance in general, and now that's for the fear of abandonment. Let's move on. A weak sense of self and proneness to perceived slights. People with preoccupied attachment style have an outside-in orientation. This happens on an unconscious level. For example, if you go to a bar alone, you may find that you're preoccupied with how others perceive you, standing alone, dancing alone, being alone. You may begin to feel weird and self-conscious. Outside-in orientation basically means the self is weak and you draw your sense of self. What I mean is whether what you are, what you're doing, and who you are is acceptable. You draw this from the outside of yourself, from how others perceive or think about you, feel about you. You may find at times, by use of overthinking, by use of worry as a defense mechanism, you use worrying and being preoccupied and overthinking to perhaps predict what would be the best way to act and be in front of others to gain their approval, to eventually feel that strong sense of self, quote unquote, or i.e. feeling good about yourself. You try to make the best estimate and guess what others think of you anywhere you go, based on what you think others think of you. You then allow yourself to feel good or bad. Generally speaking, preoccupied people have a fundamental feeling of being not good enough, a weak sense of self, a weak personality. These are the people who go off the handle and start shouting like crazy if you ever criticize them. Of course, if the attachment disturbance is extreme, of course. An outside-in orientation is a very subtle, unconscious process happening in the mind of a preoccupied person. They can't help it, just remember that. However, with practice, they can learn to see themselves in a better light, as well as think that others also see them as good enough, as totally okay. They can learn to expect that other people's thoughts about them are positive and will most likely be positive. This is the biggest challenge for someone with this attachment style. Let's look back at the same example. You're dancing at the bar again, alone, and bam, thoughts of others looking at you weird come up. The reality is that you can never ever tell what others are thinking 100%. The best questions to ask here is, why are you even having these thoughts in the first place, and what is the nature of these thoughts? If we look closely, any fear of judgment hints at the belief that you fundamentally see yourself as flawed. If we look closely, any fear of judgment hints at the belief that you fundamentally see yourself as flawed. You unconsciously believe, really believe, there's something wrong with you. But is there? From personal experience, healing my own anxious preoccupied attachment style so far, no, there isn't. It's just a feeling, really, planted in the unconscious since your first years of life, a misperception of what your caregiver did and didn't do for you. Maybe you weren't held enough, soothed enough, as much as you'd like. Perhaps you simply wanted your mother around a lot more than she was able to because she had to go to work or do some other things. The simple fact of your caregiver needing to go to work, for example, can trigger the formation of anxious preoccupied attachment style. The time when the caregiver is absent, you can start feeling, thinking, and developing all kinds of negative things about yourself. If the caregiver left you for a few hours with a babysitter, for example, like in my case with my mother, you may have developed the belief that you're not good enough to receive consistent love from those who you trust the most, because the baby always wants their mother, not a babysitter. This is especially true in the first 2 years of life, so remember that, guys. This is why when you grow up, you consciously want a healthy relationship, but you unconsciously find yourself attracting the same partners, the same neglectful partners, whether your mother was really actually neglectful or was perceived by you as neglectful simply because of the fact of her going to work. So you consistently attract the same toxic relationships. In general, you grow up feeling like there's something wrong with you, that you don't deserve to be seen in a good light. And back to the bar example, this is why you don't expect positive judgments from others. You only expect to be seen in the worst light possible, and you try to modify your behavior to prevent others from seeing you in a bad light. Again, this is because by default, you deeply believe there's something wrong with you and that you don't really deserve to be seen in a good light. You don't deserve consistent love because you didn't get that. You deserve sporadic love, a little bit of love here and there, but not all the love you can get. As you can see, it's more like an ongoing anxious state, a state in which the person is constantly in need of validation from the outside in, and having intrusive worries about being perceived negatively in social settings. Yes, people-pleasing, it's also a characteristic to preoccupied attachment style. The main core trauma, however, is fear of abandonment. The other symptoms may or may not be present in every single anxiously preoccupied person. Generally, neediness and fear of abandonment are the most common and most often seen symptoms across preoccupied people. Fear of abandonment is often very vivid, very much visible to partners and oneself in long-term relationships. This is because long-term relationships are considered attachment relationships. Again, check my introduction of what is attachment, video in the description below. But again, you kind of attach to your new romantic partner, and you start to what I mean by attach is you create the same relationship you had with your caregivers. It's a new attachment figure for you in adult life. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot. Before you go, like the video, share with someone in need. Let's raise awareness and help each other out. If you're interested in starting your healing journey, check out my Peak Transformation online course. To access the course, you could click the link below in the description. And in this course, I teach you how to do shadow work, spiritual inner work, and other healing modalities to heal your attachment style. Also, if you are struggling with any kind of stubborn, emotional, psychological pattern like low self-esteem, attachment issues, depression, any kind of blockage that you are struggling with, you have tried so many things to fix it, it didn't work out, then I highly recommend this course for you because I have gathered the most powerful healing techniques there are out there. And this course is going to help you fix the unfixable. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Check out the course in the description below. If you would like to support the journey further, you can like the video, as I said, drop a comment, let's have a discussion about all of this, and also support the journey on Patreon. Thank you for watching. See you next week.